Can I ask you something? Have you ever walked into a room and immediately made yourself smaller? Not because anyone told you to, not because someone asked, but just because somewhere deep inside a voice said, "Don't take up too much space." That is what this video is about. Not confidence tips, not morning routines, not another list of things powerful women do at 6 a.m. This video is about something quieter, something most people never say out aloud, something more deeper. This topic is what we feel inside us. This topic is about the deep unconscious feeling that lingers around the brain, the subconscious beliefs, the limitations we put on ourselves, especially women. Here is the real question. Why do so many intelligent, capable, hardworking women reach a certain point in their life and still feel like they are waiting for permission? Permission to lead, permission to charge more, permission to set a boundary without apologizing for it, to simply take up the space they have already earned? Tonight, I'm going to give you the 12 flaws. So get yourself a cup of coffee, get cozy, because this video is going to be longer. We will discuss 12 laws that the most quietly powerful women in the world live by. Laws nobody taught you in school or college or university. Laws that will feel at first like something you were told was wrong. That feeling is important. We will come back to it. But first, I need to tell you where it all started in one quiet line. None of this is a financial advice. It is simply the architecture of power, the kind nobody says out loud. Somewhere there was a room, and it may have been a kitchen, a classroom, a dinner table. In that room, she learned something. She learned it without anyone saying it out loud. She learned that taking up space was dangerous, that asserting herself cost something, that accommodation was a form of safety, and that the easiest way to survive in the room was to make everyone in it comfortable. And it worked. It worked for years. It worked until the day it didn't. Until the day she realized that the very skills that kept her safe in the room were the same skills quietly keeping her small in every room after it. Before we begin, I need you to understand the difference between two things that look the same from outside and feel completely different from inside. Performance needs witnesses. It needs the room to be watched. It needs to be seen, heard, and validated. Performances are exhausting because it never ends. It is always checking whether it is working. Power need none of that. Power does not need the room to be watched. It does not need to announce itself. It does not need to prove itself. It simply is. The woman performing power is the loudest one. She is also the most tired. The woman with power is often undetectable. She is the one you felt but couldn't quite explain. Before I give you the laws, I need to tell you something that will change how you see yourself. Because when I share these laws, a part of you will immediately think, I already knew this. And you will be right. You have known it for years, so why haven't you been living it? It is not because you lack discipline. It is not because you are weak. It is because your body has been running a program without your permission, and no amount of knowledge overrides a program you don't know was running underneath already. Psychologists call it the Fawn response. Most people know 3 survival responses: fight, flight, freeze. But the 4th one is Fawn, and it is the one that most women were taught. When a child learns that asserting herself results in withdrawal or punishment or the collapse of someone else's mood, she cannot fight, she cannot flee. She depends on the very people who are the source of danger, so her nervous system finds another way. She learns to read the room before the room turns. She learns to accommodate before the conflict begins. She learns to shrink before she asks, and society rewards her for it. It calls her easy to work with, warm, consideration, good. And so the program runs deep and deeper and deeper until it runs faster than thought, until it runs before she even realizes she was about to take up space. So when I share these laws tonight, and you feel the pull to apologize to them, to soften them, to wonder whether you are allowed, that is the program, not you. The laws are yours. They always were. You were simply never given permission to use them. Researchers at MIT Sloan, studying high-stakes negotiations, discovered something remarkable. The moment right before a breakthrough were almost always preceded by silence. A silence of at least 3 seconds in which nothing but something was happening. Because of silence shifts the room. The person who cannot tolerate silence fills it. And in the filling reveals themselves, their anxiety. They need to be understood. They need to be liked. The person who can sit in silence owns it. You were conditioned to fill silence, to make the other person comfortable. What if you simply let it sit? What if the next time someone finishes speaking, you waited just a breath? What would happen is that they would speak again, and in the speaking, they would hand you everything. Yale researchers Bresco and Ullman conducted a study that every woman should know exists. They showed participants a man expressing anger in a meeting. He was judged as competent, as a natural leader. Then they showed a woman expressing the exact same anger. She was judged as out of control, difficult, emotionally unstable. Her anger was attributed to a character flaw. His anger was attributed to the room. I'm not sharing this to make you angry, though you would be right to be. I'm sharing it because the system exists, whether or not you know about it. And the woman who knows can decide how to move inside it. Composure. Composure is not suppression. It is not swallowing yourself. It is strategic decision to not hand in the room a weapon. A weapon, the calm one do not lose. The calm one simply wait for the room to hand her everything. Research published in the Journal of Applied Psychology found something that over-explainers need to hear. Every time you justify a decision in excessive details, you signal to the other person that the decision is not yet final. You have, without meaning it, invited them to challenge it. The email that takes 20 minutes to write because she needs to explain why she can't attend. The phone call where she justifies a boundary for 10 minutes to someone who does not intend to respect it anyway. The apology for existing in a way that was inconvenient for someone else. Here is the law. No. No is the complete sentence. Your decisions do not require a paragraph to be legitimate. The moment you over-explain, you have communicated something. You have communicated that you are not sure you are allowed or not. You are allowed. Psychologist Nira Lieberman, studying the relationship between speech rate and perceived status, found something that will stay with you. People instinctively speed up their speech when they feel they are imposing on someone of higher status. They rush to take up a little time as possible, as if their presence is a burden. And the listener registers this, not consciously, but in the body always knows. Fast speech reads as subservience. Slow speech reads as authority. The measured pace says, I believe my words are worth your time. She does not rush in, she arrives. She does not speak quickly to take up less space. She speaks at the pace of someone whose time has value, because it does, because hers does. Here is where I need to pause, because the next 4 laws will feel different. They will feel like edges, like something you were told was unkind. This is not instinct talking. This is the program. The next 4 laws are about what you withhold, what you protect, what you choose not to give. Withholding is not selfish, and self-preservation is not a crime. Samir Noor Muhammad, publishing in the Academy of Management Journal, named this the underdog effect. Being underestimated actually increases performance, because no one prepares a defense against something they don't see coming. She has spent her life correcting this. Every time someone underestimates her, she explained herself, she proved herself, she performed competence. For people who had already decided what she was, and she exhausted herself doing it. Here's the law. You do not need to correct the impression. You need to use it. Let them think what they want to think. Let them think and behave in the way they choose to, and then simply become undeniable. Harvard Business School's Leslie John studied the psychology of sharing and found something important. When someone reveals highly personal information too early, too openly, before trust has been established, the listener does not feel closer. They feel that the sharer is emotionally unregulated. She thought openness was closeness. Sometimes it is, but not before the trust is earned, and not with everyone. Here is the law. Not everything valuable needs to be visible. The woman who is observable, not easily deferred, creates something irresistible. She forces the room to project respect onto her because the room cannot manage what it cannot read. This is the law that changes the most things at once. So hear it slowly. Research into emotional regulation and social power demonstrates one thing clearly. The moment someone can provoke your reaction, they have the power over you. Not the power you gave them, power you don't even know you lost, because your reaction was the only control they needed. She knows the feeling of this, the comment that stole an entire afternoon, the email she couldn't stop thinking about, the person she replied conversations with. At 2 a.m, she handed them every hour of that by reacting. Here is the law. Your reaction is your currency. It is the most valuable thing you have in a room. Spend it like it costs you something measurably, because it does. The unbothered woman is not cold. She is not unfeeling. She simply decided a long time ago that not everyone is worth the price of her peace. Researchers Exley and Kessler, studying the gender promotion gap, uncovered a painful double bind. When women self-promote, they are socially penalized for it. When they don't, they are overlooked. There is no version where the announcement alone wins the room, but there is a way through it. Make the work so undeniable that it announces itself. The woman who has done the thing does not need to tell you she has done that thing. It speaks before she enters and it stays after she leaves. Build something real and then let it speak. Research on unavailability, or rather availability, and perceived value confirms that what power has always known. The more available you are to everyone, the less your access appears to be worth. She made herself available because she was taught that love was availability, that being needed was the same as being valued. It is not. Being needed and being valued are two different rooms. Here is the law. Scarcity of access is not cruelty, it is the natural result of a life that is full. When her time and her appearance or her presence and her energy are reserved, they say what is offered here is rare, and rare things are treated differently. Research into boundary setting found one consistent truth. The people who held firm boundaries reported significantly greater relationship satisfaction, not less, greater. The thing she was afraid would push people away was what would have kept the right ones close. A boundary. A boundary is not a wall. It is an announcement. Announcement of what she is worth. Every boundary she holds teaches the people around her how to see her. And the people who resist her boundaries the most are the very people who needed those boundaries to exist. Research into emotional maturity found that the most developed adults engage selectively. They conserve their energy for the thing that merit it, and they let the rest pass through them without taking hold. There is a tactic, and I want you to know this. There is a tactic used deliberately by manipulative people. It is called strategic depletion. They provoke an argument. They have no intention of resolving, because the argument itself is not the point. Exhausting her is the point. A depleted woman is a manageable woman. Here is the law. Silence in response to provocation is not defeat. It is the withholding of exactly what they came for. Psychologists call it the backfire effect. When you present evidence to someone committed to their own worldview, they do not update. They entrench your logic. Your logic does not penetrate them. It arms them. She has sat in those conversations. She explained herself with patience, with evidence, with everything she had, and they were not convinced. Because they were never seeking truth. They were seeking confirmation of what they had already decided. Here is the law. Some conversations cannot be won. Some, very few, but they exist. Not because you are wrong, because they are not listening. Knowing when to leave is its own kind of power. So let me leave you with this. The most powerful woman in the room is rarely the loudest. She is rarely the most aggressive. She is rarely the one performing the most. She is the one who doesn't need permission. She is the one who doesn't need validation. She is the one who doesn't need to prove herself to people who were never going to believe her anyway. And she is the one who does not surrender her peace for anyone. Because real power does not announce itself. It does not ask for a witness. It simply is. And the day she stops performing is the day she arrives. Build quietly, love without urgency, and never again mistake performing for others for the freedom of belonging to yourself. I will see you at the